Hi guys, I'm back. Feeling a lot better. Thank you for all the well wishes, etc. I am back. And today, yes, it is going to be a pretty simple Makume Gane, but the reason I'm doing that is because I really want to showcase this opaline clay. It's a really nice clay. I like it. And the colours I'm going with, this is opaline white. This one is the opaline blue-grey. This one is lilac. This one is, what did I do with the packet? This one is opaline caramel. And then this green one is, celadon. I think that's how you pronounce it, but it's a green colour. Now it comes in a lot more different colours, but I wanted to go with a more subtle look today. And the cool thing about this clay is it's semi-translucent, so it's not like Cernit translucent that it's like really clear, but there is a translucency to it. And once it's baked, it looks like porcelain. And it's got such a nice feel to it, and I just really like it. So I thought I'd just kind of showcase that as a clay. And I'm going to be using one of Ojoy Creations' Makume Gane imprints. Now she's got a ton of these and they're great, but I'm going to go with this butterfly wing one. And again, I just wanted to give the whole piece a very delicate faux porcelain look. So with that being said, that's what I'm going to do. So I've rolled all my clays out, and I've rolled out some white, but I've cut it into two pieces because I'm going to do a hollow pendant. So we need a piece for the top and a piece for the back. So we just need one piece to start with, and then all the other colours, and everything is rolled out onto a number 4 on my Atlas 150, 0 being the thickest setting. So middle of the road thickness. Alright, so I'm just going to put this white clay to one side because that's going to come after. We're just going to concentrate on this Makume Gane stack for now. Now I've done 3 of the, I'm just going to call it green, 3 of the lilac, 3 the blue-grey, 3 of the lilac, and just 2 of the caramel, because I don't want the darker colour to overtake these lighter colours. I just want a very nice subtle effect, and I don't really care in which order it gets stacked, so I'm just doing whatever. Although having said that, I do want that caramel to be, at least one of the caramels to be on top, because I want the darker colour to be pushed through. So just stack them however you feel, but just make sure you've got one of the caramels on the top. I mean, guys, you can do whatever colours you want to. This is just what I'm going with. And like I say, Opaline has got other colours, and they've got some darker colours as well. Like, let me just show you, like this one. And this is violet, so you can get the darker colours. And I think there's like a pinky colour, but I can't. Oh. There we go. Magenta, and again, this is a darker colour, but I just wanted to go with the lighter colours today. And there's like an orangey colour. I'm not giving you the actual names because they're all the way up there and I don't know what they're actually called. And there's like a yellowy colour and a pinky colour and a darker blue. So it comes in a whole range of different colours, but I've been playing with it. And while this is just going to be a simple technique, I just want you to see what it looks like when it's baked. So I've stacked all my colours together. I'm just going to give it a quick roll, and I'm wondering whether to restack or keep it just like that. I think I'm just going to keep it as is, seeing as we doubled up on, more than doubled up on most of those colours. So there's those colours running all the way through. Now these Makume Gane imprint cutters aren't that deep, so you don't want your stack to be too deep. So I kind of just go roughly with the measurement like this, so it matches, almost matches this, the thickness of the actual cutter part. So it's very simple Makume Gane, but like I said, I just want you to see what it looks like when it's baked. It's pretty cool. But I'm just giving my imprint cutter a little bit of a wipe, just to make sure it's a little damp so it doesn't stick, the clay doesn't stick in there. And I'm just giving it a really nice firm push. Now you're not going to cut all the way through to the bottom, you don't want to cut right through, but as deep as you can take it without cutting through. And just, you know, give it a little wobble here and there, and then hopefully, fingers crossed, it will pull out without pulling the clay out. Okay, so that's that. Now you can see it's quite an open pattern. You can leave it that way or you can close it back up. I am going to close it back up, but not all the way, so you just need to give it another gentle roll and maybe a little bit of a squish at the sides there, just to somewhat close it back up. Now you could completely roll over it, and you know, I don't want to do that. I like a few little open spaces. I forgot to mention you're also going to need a little bit of liquid translucent clay, and obviously I've got my cutters that I'm going to use, and I'm just going to do a circle cutter with a little heart because it's nearly Valentine's Day, with a little heart cut out in the centre. I've also got this little round cutter, but I'm not sure whether I'm going to use it or not. I was thinking I might do a pair of earrings, but we'll see. Okay, so I've got my stack ready to go, and it's just literally a case of starting to cut into it. Now remember, this stack isn't deep, but I'm just going to move it over here out of the way a little bit, so I've got a bit of room. Make sure it's firmly stuck on your tile, and I'm just going to grab some paper, which I forgot to get, because as you know, I always forget something. I've just got to roll over this way. Oh dear, I thought I had some sheets cut up, but I didn't. And it's just regular run-of-the-mill printing paper. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm sorry, I'm disorganised. I'm just going to cut a few sheets up just so I've got some ready. Okay. Because I am going to put this on here. Actually, no, I'm not. I've changed my mind. Ignore that bit. Right, so I've got myself a flexible and sharp blade. And I've got my white clay and I've got my stack ready, and I'm just going to start cutting as thin as you can get, because I want to be able to keep some of that translucency. And I love this little imprint cutter. Don't worry if it breaks, it adds to the effect. And I'm just literally going to place it on my white clay, and this little bit came apart, but I'm just going to pop it there. I'm not going to worry about that little bit. And then same again, as thin as you can get it, guys. This does take practice. So you've got some really delicate little pieces, and I'm just going to plop that there like so. Now, as with my canes, I don't like to make my pieces look too busy, so I'm not covering the whole piece with my Makume Gane slices. Oh, that's a nice piece. I love that. I'm not sure whether I want to use that on something else. Let me just cut a couple more slices and I'll think about it. Oops. That's got quite a lot of the caramel. Whoops. Now this clay is a little bit sticky. Most Cernit clays are. It's not as sticky as Cernit translucent, but it is a little bit. So if you're a little bit worried about that, you can always leach it first, and all that means is you get some paper, you get your clay already rolled out and conditioned, and then you place some more paper on the top and just let it sit for a few minutes, and it'll draw out or leach out any of the excess moisture that's in there from the oils and plasticizers. I think that's what it is that's causing the wetness. I haven't leached it, I'm not too concerned, but some of you might want to. Okay, I'm really loving this piece. I kind of wish I had used it now. I'm wondering if I can get this bit off. Probably not. Oh, yes. So I am going to ruin this slice. Oh well, because I do want to use that other piece. So, you know, don't do what I did just there. Make up your mind before you lay put my teeth in. Lay the pieces down. But I am going with this piece because I really like it, and it doesn't matter if you overlap the pieces either. It actually adds a little bit to the overall finished look, because it is semi-translucent, so you can get some nice overlapping, you know, colours going on. And that's all I'm doing, guys. I'm literally just putting that on there like that, and we've still got this left, so I could make a few more pieces with it. I am going to get my paper now, and I am going to get another piece of paper on top, and I'm going to give it a burnish with my fingers just to start with, just to make sure it's nicely stuck on there. And for those of you that don't know what I mean by burnishing, well, you can see what I'm doing. Basically just rubbing over the clay, and it just smooths out the clay and helps to remove any blemishes. But I'm also going to get this little thing, and it's called a steel soap, and I'm going to press quite hard because all those pieces that I've put on there are quite raised, and I want it to be flush and seamless against the white clay. So you can be quite brutal with it. Nice firm pressure, and then I'm just going to lift it and just feel, and it still needs a little longer. Now this is listed in my Amazon storefront, as are the round cutters, and these will be listed in the links in Ojoy Creations shop. Now Ojoy Creations is located in USA, as am I, but she does collab with Debbie in Australia, and they share a lot of the same you know, cutters and silk screens and things like that. So if you're better off ordering from Australia, you can order from Debbie, and I will leave a link for her shop as well. I'm just going to get a clean piece of paper. Oh my gosh, guys, I feel like I've got verbal diarrhea today. It's like I think it's because I've just been so like cooped up for the last 3 weeks, and oh my gosh, I apologise, but you know, I'm happy, I'm excited, and you know, it's good to be back, and it's good to feel well again. And I know there's been a bit of a gap between my last one, but I started to feel better, and I got some of my energy back, so I kind of caught up with a lot of things that I wasn't able to do for 3 weeks, and time just kind of ran away with me, and it's like, oh, it's been, I think it's 10 days since my last tutorial. I think I'd better do one. And I actually haven't played with my clay all week this week, so I'm probably just a little bit giddy. So I'm just feeling this again, and sometimes it can take a few goes to get it flush, and this is taking its time, to be honest. So I'm just going to give it one more going over, circular motions, and a quick boop, 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 boop. Like so, and I think it's good. I have noticed there's a few little dirty smudges on that. So the other thing you can do to clean the clay is to get some isopropyl alcohol, otherwise known as rubbing alcohol. I've just poured it into this bottle, and this actually removes the very top layer of clay, and while it's doing that, it's removing any blemishes and any dirt, and you can just give it a quick wipe, and I just use a wet wipe to do so. I'm telling you these things now because there's a few people that have recently subscribed and they're beginners and they don't know certain things or why I'm doing certain things, and I probably shouldn't assume that you all know, because obviously you don't, but that's all that is, and that's why I'm using it. It's to clean the clay, and there's a little speck there that's really bugging me, but I don't think it's it's fine. It's not gonna be in my cutter. Alright, so it's as simple as that, guys. That's all I'm really doing. I'm gonna take this now, and I want a lot of the white Tipsy hairs again. And for those of you that don't know, Tipsy is my kitty, my little kitty cat, and she's actually a rescue cat, and she's tiny, and she has a condition called cerebellar hyperplasia, which means her brain didn't fully develop, the part of the brain that controls balance, so she's a bit wobbly, hence the name Tipsy. She's not in any pain, she's happy, she's adorable actually, and she's so affectionate. And oh my gosh, guys, I am going to slow down with my talking now. Okay, so I've got my clay ready, and I'm going to make this into a hollow pendant. So I'm just going to gently lay the cutter of my choice over, and you can see I'm leaving quite a lot of that white there because I really want that white to show. And I'm just going to flip it over and gently, very gently, start to press in, so we're getting a nice dome. Now you can make this as domed as you want. I don't want a really deep dome, but what I am going to do is just get a little bit of liquid clay for two reasons. It helps me to slide my finger around, but I also want to be able to get a good seal when I add the backing, so I'm just kind of rubbing it around the edges mainly, because sometimes I've found that with these hollow pendants, it doesn't always, the two pieces don't always join up as well as I would like, so I've found that just putting a little bit of liquid clay on there helps. And I'm just gently moving this around, my finger around, just to get a nice little dome. And it's not a deep one, I don't want a deep one. I'm just going to get a little bit more liquid clay on there. One more little boop around. Wipe this off. And I'm going to get my backing clay, which also looks a bit dirty. This is the thing with white clay, well it is for me anyway, especially when you've got pets, you know, hair everywhere, and it doesn't matter how much I clean. But anyway, I'm taking the backing piece now, and I'm gently stretching, not so it goes through the cutter, but I just want to make sure it's really stuck together, but I'm just kind of stretching it out a little bit as I go, like so. I'm just smoothing any bits off because there's a little bit of a crease in the clay there, so I'm just smoothing that off. Alright, so there we go, and I'm just going to pop this down, and then I'm going to take my little heart cutter and I'm going to dampen it and also clean it while I do that because it looks a bit grubby. And I'm just going to place it centre-ish. I mean, I'm not being overly precise, but I do just need to have a quick look to make sure it's, you know, close to being central. I think that's okay, hopefully anyway. And I'm just going to push this down now. And it's a little awkward, but I always like to do this cut first and then the big cutter second, and I'm just making sure, you know, I'm pushing down quite firmly. I'm going to give it a little bit of a wiggle, and hopefully it's got a nice seal on it, and it looks like it has. I'm just going to get rid of this, make sure I've got some of the white stuff left. Now I'm scared to use the block on this because I don't want to end up flattening that dome, so I'm going to have to use my fingers because this is not that deep of a cutter. So it's on you which cutters you use, guys. You just have to play around and hope they're deep enough, but this one is a little shallow, so I'm hoping it's gone all the way through. If it hasn't, I'll just have to get my knife. I think it's worked, yes. Alright, so I'm just going to quickly look at this, make sure it's sealed all the way around, give it a bit of a smooth, and then gently, very gently, slide your blade underneath, pop out the middle, place this on some paper. I'm just going to check the inside as well, make sure that's got a good seal on it. Doesn't look too bad, but I'm just going to get a little silicone tool thing and just give it a gentle, you know, brush around just to smooth any rough areas. Now this piece I'm not going to resin it. I don't want to ruin the look of the faux porcelain, so it's going to be sanded and buffed through all the grits with wet dry sandpaper. I do have a video on how I do that, so I'm not going to do it on this video, but I will tell you, and I'll leave a link for that by the way, but I will tell you I start with a 320 grit wet dry sandpaper, and I go from 320 to 400 to 600, 800, 1000, 1200, 1500, 2000 and 3000, and I'll do that all off camera, and then I'll come back and then we will need to give it a nice buff. Alright, so that's the pendant. It's looking pretty nice, and I really like that very delicate dome on it. It is hollow, there's air trapped in between. Some people have asked me, do I need to pierce a hole in there? No, you don't. I never do, and it's always fine. It's not going to explode or anything. And I'm just giving it another little clean, and there's a little bit here that's not fully closed, so I'm just making sure, and that looks really good now. And there's a little bit here that got a little bit creased, so again I'm just rubbing some rubbing alcohol over it. I'm getting any of those blemishes off there, and there we go. Now I'm undecided whether to make earrings as well, but you know what, might as well, hey, why not? We've got some clay, we've got this left, we might as well do a couple of little simple earrings. So I'm just going to re-roll out this white clay. I'm rolling it onto a number 4 again, but I'm just going to get this little cutter and I'm going to cut, I don't want the earrings too big, but just to make sure I've got equal amounts of clay, I'm going to cut 8 pieces out, 4 for each earring. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, it was only 7. I can count. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 8. So I'm going to just put 4 pieces together for one earring, 4 pieces together for another, and we might as well do round circle ones to match the round pendant. Just make sure it's nicely conditioned, and I'm just going to double check the size of this. Actually, I think I'm going to add one more circle of clay to each one, so that's 5 on each. That one's going to be a little short, but I'll just tear a tiny piece off and put that there. So 5 equal amounts of clay for each earring. And I know this is going to get dirty because it doesn't matter how much I clean my hands, I still manage to get dirt on my white clay. So I'm just going to roll them into a rough little ball to start with. I'm not being too precise at this point. Shall I do round or shall I do teardrops? Decisions. I think I'll just stick with round ones today. Might do some teardrop ones another time. Alright, so I've got 2 equal balls of clay, and I'm just going to get my Makume Gane stack, make sure it's pressed down on the tile, and I'm just going to take some very thin little slices. And that's probably too big because I don't want to cover the white, so I'm just going to do that again and just take little pieces and then just place it on the clay, the ball of clay, wherever really. And this isn't going to really maintain the pattern too much because it's going to get rolled around, but it's getting the same colours as in the pendant, so they kind of match. Very simple. I'm just going to take one more little piece, just put it on there. So I'm really only covering half the ball. Let's pop that there. Put that there. Put that there. And I think that's good. And we've still got quite a bit left. Even though that's not that thick, you can get several pieces out of it, but that's all I'm going to make on camera, guys. I'm just going to move that out of the way. Alright, so just randomly put your little scraps of clay on there and then just start to roll the balls in your hands like this. That way it gets nice and stuck on there, but it also smooths it out as you work with it. Simple. And excuse the little dirty bits, I'll try and get that off. But I just wanted a little bit of colour just to come up the sides like this, so I've only done half. Just very simple. And I don't even care if they're not perfectly round. I kind of like a little bit of a rustic look going on, but they do need a good clean. So I'm going to get my alcohol again and my wipe and just try and get that dirty bit off there. It was actually a hair. So just give them a wipe. There's another hair there. Okay, very simple little round earrings. Believe it or not, I'm not much of a jewellery maker. I like my clay. I like dealing with my clay, and you've probably noticed that when I assemble my pieces, it's usually quite simple because I'm not much of a jewellery maker where, with wire wrap and all that kind of thing. I am trying to learn new stuff. But I'll be honest, I do like to keep my pieces quite simple anyway. That's just me. Alright, so I think I've messed with those enough. So it's just 2 very simple little... Oh my gosh, there's glitter on there now. What the heck? I love glitter, but it's also my nemesis. You probably feel the same way. Anyway, I'm going to grab 2 head pins for my earrings. So just these little pins with the little flat heads on them. And I'm going to just, I'm just going to push this through the centre of the bead. This is the bottom, so this flat head will be at the bottom, and then we can play with this once they're baked. And I just kind of gently screw it in, she says. This is why I don't mess with jewellery very much, because I'm not very good at it. I'm just going to push it through. It's as centred as I need it to be, and it will bake like that. I'm just going to give this a little bit of a roll just to smooth it out again. I'm just going to pop it on the paper. Now I know a lot of people bake their things, like especially things like this, in a little bit of cornstarch. I'm just going to place it on the paper, guys. I'm not that fussy. They're going to get thoroughly sanded afterwards. Don't bake it on tile though, because that will leave a shiny flat spot. So I just place mine, you know, on a piece of card like this, piece of paper. But other people, like I say, fill a little, you know, container with cornstarch and rest their rounder pieces on that. You can do that if you want to. The other issue I'm having here is this clay. My fingers have got so warm now that this clay is getting really sticky, so I'm having a hard time manoeuvring it, but there you go. And I'm just going to do that just to smooth it off again. And I'm just going to bake them as is, like that, but we'll do something with them once they're baked. Alright, so I'm going to go and bake these. It's Cernit, so it needs to be baked at 265. Excuse me. I'll be back. Sorry guys, I've still got a bit of a cough. Anyway, I'm just going to go and put these in the oven on 265 because it's Cernit. I'm going to go through all the grits like I explained earlier with the wet dry sandpaper, and I'll be back. Okay guys, I'm back. I baked these for an hour. I sanded through all the grits, then I added a little bit of Renaissance wax, let it dry for a few minutes and then buffed it. Like I say, I will leave a link for the video where I show you how to do that. But this is Cernit Opaline, and it really does, to me, it really does look like porcelain. It's just got a beautiful soft feel to it. A lovely soft shimmer when you've sanded and buffed it. I love it. It's really nice, really delicate looking. And I just added a simple chain at this point and a toggle clasp. I'm not sure I'm going to leave it that way. I just did it for quickness, but that's what I've done with it. I might even change the chain out and add maybe do like a leather cord or something. I don't know, but it was just for quickness, just to show you. But that's the pendant, and then these are the earrings. Whoops. Now I made these dangly, extra dangly, but aren't they pretty? I just love them. I just really like this clay. I didn't like it to start with, I'll be honest with you. I wasn't sure about it, but I started playing around with it, and I just love the finished feel of it. And there's the earrings, nice and dangly. So you saw what I did. I put the pin head through, the head pin through. I added a little bead cap and then a bead, looped it over, and then I added this. And let me just show you. I got these off Amazon, and these will be listed in my Amazon storefront, and they're called, I can't see, bar links, and they've got a little hoop on either end so you can attach them to earrings, and that's what I've done. So very simple, very delicate looking. So they're the earrings as well. Alright guys, that's all for today. Be sure to check out the description as explained at the beginning of the video. That's where you're going to find all the links and all the info that you're going to need. And I'm so happy to be back. Thanks for watching guys. Have a great weekend, and I'll catch you later. Bye.